Richland School District 2 would really like for our high school students who are taking the Work Keys assessment to understand that this assessment is very different from any other assessment that you normally take. The Work Keys assessment is by the ACT testing organization, which has been around for many years. They have many years of data that tell us if you score a silver on Work Keys, this is the kind of job that you are suited for. This is the kind of job that you can expect and what salaries come with that job. If you score gold on Work Keys, what kinds of fields typically go with the student who scored a gold? If you score platinum, what kinds of things might you be able to expect to do if you score a platinum? And the higher you score, the larger percentage of jobs you're going to find have an open door to you. The data also tells us that the higher you score, the more salary you are likely to make. You all need to have powerful information about what you can expect in a career, in a salary, how you're going to make a living, what kind of wage you can expect. What are you good at? What field should you look at? How should you prepare yourself for your future? The Work Keys exam can give you powerful information.
Being a competitor, not only in South Carolina, but around the country, means having a workforce that's capable of meeting the needs of not only today, but of meeting the needs of our industries tomorrow. And that's why efforts like the Work Keys effort are so critically important, and why Ingenuity SC has committed to being a part of that effort.
Ingenuity SC is an economic development nonprofit. Their job is to find ways to make the Midlands as economically competitive as possible. Simply put, they look to attract industries to the Midlands that will provide jobs that will put money in our pockets so we can live abundant lives. You on board with that? Well, you better be prepared.
One of the main indicators we look at year after year is talent and workforce development. It is one of the most important factors in not only creating a more competitive environment, but on creating a more prosperous region.
A state agency that works towards helping people find employment is the Department of Employment and Workforce. Gray Parks is the Director of Workforce Operations.
Every company and all the positions they hire for, they're looking for a specific skill set. And a lot of employers are, those skill sets are math, they're reading, they're locating information, and then, they could be technical skills depending on what type of position it is.
Work Keys is a test that teaches and tests students real-life skills that they can take to a workplace. It's not just academic-based.
Work Keys is an assessment that is done by the ACT to look for job readiness. It's an assessment that is used by millions of employers across the country. It's used to identify, train, find weaknesses and strengths of employment, and allow employers a tool to look for certain individuals for positions in their workplace.
What I want my students to understand is that this really is an assessment that tells us how prepared they are for the workforce. And what I want them to understand is that as we grow in the work-ready communities across our nation, in South Carolina alone, we already have over 3,000 corporations and companies that use the Work Keys assessment as a cutoff for screening applicants for their job market.
Parents need to know that because the governor has signed this into law, that more businesses will be using it to evaluate potential employees. As students score either the bronze, the silver, the gold, or the platinum, they will receive a National Career Readiness Certificate it can be used anywhere in the United States as long as a company accepts that Career Readiness Certificate as an employee evaluation tool.
When you look at manufacturing in South Carolina, as an employer, we need these types of tests to help get the students ready because manufacturing is growing.
FN America manufactures firearms for the military and law enforcement.
If you look at what the Commerce Department, what the governor's focused on, manufacturing over the last 4 years has invested somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.5 to $4.5 billion in the state of South Carolina. Manufacturing, when you talk about large manufacturers like FN in the Midlands, Boeing in the lower country, BMW in the upstate. Manufacturing is a key part of what we do, and as an employer, we need tests like work keys to get the students ready so that when we add employment, that they're ready to come and work for us.
What Work Keys helps employers do as well is it helps employers kind of identify the skills that are important for their positions. So employers know off the bat what they're looking for in applicants. And then that's where the Work Keys can correlate to the individual, because this individual can walk into a business or employer and say, okay, here's my score. You know, I scored silver on the Work Keys. This position correlates to a silver based off of the profile of the employer in that particular position. So right off the bat, the employer knows that this individual has the ability to do the job that they have posted.
Randy Crutchfield is the site hiring manager for Michelin North America Incorporated.
On the side where we do production, part of that, of course, is the application itself. So we're looking at the background there. And then as we get into the other skill sets, of course, we start looking, do they have the knowledge they need? We use Work Keys on that today on the production side.
Keep in mind, Michelin is that rather large manufacturing plant in Lexington that employs over 2,000 people.
Work Keys to us is our standard that we actually use to ensure that people have the knowledge they need, not only for the entry-level production jobs, but also to progress with their career with us. The way we arrived at that standard was we had some specialists from Midlands Tech come in and actually analyze our jobs. They talk to the individuals that do the jobs, they talk to training instructors, they talk to people that manage those particular roles, and from that came up with a set standard on the Work Keys test that our future employees would need to meet in order to be successful with Career Center.
With that in mind, Work Keys is used to allow for an equal opportunity for anyone that qualifies under the Work Keys parameters.
When we started using that as a standard, very shortly after that, we backed up and said, well, if this is our standard, in the past we always looked for high school diploma or GED as a qualification as well. But once we had a testing standard, at that point it pretty much obviated the need. We no longer needed to look for GED and high school diploma and use Work Keys exclusively. Now, to say that another way, someone could show up with us with a high school diploma, GED, or even an advanced degree, but if they did not have Work Key credentials, they would not be able to come and work with us.
If you were wondering, you will need a silver score to work at Michelin.
If you score a silver in South Carolina, that silver is going to carry you to California or Texas or anywhere that businesses use Work Keys as an industry standard. The better you do, the more of an advantage you have to get a job. It's going to level the playing field. It's going to make you stand out from other people who are applying for the same job because you're coming in with a high Work Key score with that National Career Readiness Certificate, whereas someone else who's been out of school for a couple years who was not required to take this test might not have those Work Key scores at all and might have to go back, take the test, pay to take the test because it is free for our students, and it just puts them behind the 8 ball. For students who are coming out of high school and not necessarily ready to go straight to college, for whatever reason, this set of assessment, these tests that they have to take, it gives them a leg up over other people applying for jobs with these businesses because they're going to go in with a career readiness certificate, regardless of what level it is, and it's going to give them an advantage over these other people who are applying for these positions.
Nationwide, currently, the Work Keys community has over 12,000 companies and corporations registered. So that number will only continue to grow as the popularity of this assessment grows. This is something that will help a student become marketable. They want to use this to market themselves to companies and corporations in their applications because it's not just industrial corporations that are using this, it's a wide spectrum of companies, and I think that number will continue to grow, and I think that this will be a normal expectation of our graduates moving forward of have you taken Work Keys, what was your score, and whether or not we can use your application based on that score.
I am a little bit intimidated just because I know how important it is for this test to be good for future employers, but I do know that it just assesses my daily skills, so I'm not as nervous as I would be for another test.
Only in his sophomore year, Matthew Owens has not yet taken the Work Keys test. Owens understands doing well on the Work Keys test will have an impact on him for years to come.
It would mean endless opportunities in the workforce, and it would mean more opportunities not only for me but for my future family and what I can do there, and it would give me so many opportunities in the world, and it would look amazing on a job application too.
Owens is aware that he can use the results of the test to make his own personal assessment of how employers may perceive him.
It will help me to tell what I need to work on to be more employable, but also tell me what I'm doing right so that I can continue to do it. In addition to this, it will give me more self-confidence and again, job applications, knowing that I've done as much as I can and that I'm doing well with my employability.
Chandler Oates has taken and retaken the test to get the silver score needed to get the job he wanted.
Whenever I graduated high school, it was pretty much from graduation day. I knew I had to get a job. I knew I had to start a career. That's the only way, because I know that's the only way to make anything out of myself. The Work Keys test did help me choose a career instead of just a job.
I think that we're still in a mindset of college, academics. And I'm not saying that's not important, and that has a place for a lot of students. But there's more and more students out there that would be better off going the technical school route, going the work route. And so I feel that if Work Keys was, better known and more kids knew about it, and especially know about it as freshmen and sophomores, not just as a senior in high school when you're deciding what to do, that they could better prepare and kind of focus their career goals based on their own skills. If a student's not college bound, I think they really need to take the Work Keys because it can measure what skills they have and what type of job. Part of the Work Keys is also learning, am I going to be good in agriculture? Am I going to be good in the health service industry? Am I going to be good using more math or more reading? And I feel if students know themselves better and what they can be good at, they can tailor the type of jobs they're looking for to their skills and interests. What I tell them is, I understand that you feel this way at the time, but put it this way, this is money in your pocket. If you don't do as well as you can and don't do everything you can to prepare, you're basically throwing money at your pocket. Do you want to make $9 an hour or do you want to make $14 an hour? And then I'll put per hour, per week, per month, say by the end of the month, you're throwing away $200 or $300. Is that something you want to do, is just throw away $200 or $300? Every student, of course, says, no, I want the money. I want to make as much as I can.
There's specific data on Work Keys that shows a direct correlation in the higher your score, the higher annual salary that you can earn, and the percentage of jobs that are available that you would actually have the skill set to qualify for.
If your plan is to be an engineer, log on to the ACT website and make sure that you are performing in the category that would indicate that you have the skill set to be an engineer.
Anybody who's taken the test and is interested in taking it again to improve their score, I mean, that option is available. There are some tools out there as well that you can take some practice tests, some practice type questions to help you kind of improve upon your knowledge and be ready for the test the second time you take it.
There is a Career Ready 101. It's almost like the tutorial for it that all schools have access to, and if they wanted to sign up for that so they could do better, all they'd have to do is email me or see one of the teachers, the career prep teachers, or one of the career development facilitators in their school.
There's a lot of different competencies ranging from reading competencies, math competencies based on teamwork, on listening, a whole array of different skills that are going to be tested on the Work Keys. The students that you put more work into it and you try on the Career Ready 101, those students are more prepared to take the Work Keys and do well on them.
The Work Keys has really become a national standard. It's actually based on the same people that do college prep testing. And so we're finding that even outside of the Southeast, we're starting to see it nationwide now. So I think it's very, very important, especially with students, regardless of where they think their future may take them. Our futures don't always turn the way we think they will, so even if you're college bound, you may find out the job you'd like to have while you're in college may require Work Keys as well. So it's important, regardless of where you think your destination is going to be today, to actually get Work Key credentials while you're in high school and be ready for the workforce, regardless of where your future may take you.
It helps the student, it helps the company, it helps the school to know where the skills are and where additional improvement might be needed if they're looking for a particular job and they may be deficient in those skills today, where they might get some additional education.
What it boils down to is taking the work keys and having that work key certificate is the difference between having a job and having a career. Having a career that you actually have vacation and benefits and health care, something that you can actually have a meaningful life and provide for your family, versus just working, different jobs and you go job to job to job. It's something that you can have a real career out of.
And that's the important piece about students understanding what this test is really about. It's not just another test. It is that test that tells an employer your skill aptitude, almost. It's your, are you able to pull information from a document? Are you able to analyze a document? Are you able to apply these math skills? And it's not a test of content regurgitation, it's a test of skills and concepts. So I think that's why these corporations are so attracted to it. In my experience, if there ever was a test that defined a student's preparedness for the workforce, this is it.
This test is a great opportunity because, like I said, there's hardcore data out there that shows that the correlation, the higher your score, the more positions you have the skill set to fill in the future. So it's important because it measures real world skills. It measures skills that employers are looking for, and you want to be able to market yourself to the best of your ability to these employers. And they're looking for individuals every day with these particular skill sets. So it's definitely a great opportunity for individuals to improve themselves and go out there and find that job that they're looking for.
You may be planning to leave us and go to college. However, sometimes life changes and you may find yourself looking for a job right out of high school. So take this Work Keys test now. Take it very seriously because, again, no matter who you are and no matter what you plan to do, this test packs a lot of information to help you in your efforts.